Bismillah. Okay folks, welcome back to another one of our GCSE lessons from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We're looking at Edexcel GCSE style questions. This is some new resources which I've downloaded and we'll be using those today. Okay, now today's topic is going to be all the exam questions to do with trigonometry. That's why. Okay, right, the question's nice and big, so you can just check our video production is okay. Right, here's our first question. ABC. ABC is a right angle triangle. The key word in this question is the right angle triangle. Okay, AB is equal to 18 centimeters and B to C is equal to 6 centimeters. So they're giving you the measurements here and here. The line BD bisects the angle ABC. So that's BD, so it cuts this line AC. Now, question A says write down the value of tan X. Okay, now, that's the first question, tan X. Now, this is the calculator paper. We'll see how we use it in a second. Now, if you look at this question over here, what I want you to do first, what's opposite the X? What do you call the side that's opposite the angle? And the key is in my question. What is the side called that is opposite the side? It's called the opposite. Okay? So this is the opposite. Now, the side which is opposite the right angle, that side is always the longest side and is related to an animal that you find wandering around in Africa. Hypotenuse or hippopotamus, I call it. Okay, the hypotenuse. Now, if that's the opposite and that's the hypotenuse, there's only one side left and we can't be in doubt where that one goes. That's called the adjacent. That has to go on the bottom. Okay, so now that we've labelled it all up, now we look at tan X. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, so we have Sokotoa. So this is a way that we use to remember the trigonometrical identities. So the triangles here. Okay, now what is the tan identity? The tan identity is equal to what? Tan of the angle. So if I cover this up with my finger, the technique is you cover it with your thumb or your finger and what you have left is what the identity is. So tan of the angle is O divided by A. So tan of the angle is O divided by A. Okay, now the theta is the symbol, the Greek symbol that we use for angle. In this case, Adil, the theta can be replaced with an X. Because we're talking about X in this particular instance. So now, the question says, what is the value of tan X? According to trigonometry, tan X is always equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent. Do we know the opposite adjacent? It's 18 and that is 6. So we can say here now tan of X is equal to 18. Well, actually put it over here, it'd be better. O is 18 and A is 6. So we have 18 divided by 6. 18 divided by 6, folks, don't know short at once. 3. So the tan of X is equal to 3. Okay? That's for the first question, first part. Okay, so I'm going to leave that question there. Clear? Everything? Okay, next part. It says calculate the length of BD. Now, at the moment, this part of the question is worth 1 mark. They don't want anything more than that. Calculate the length of BD. So let's get rid of this for the moment. BD is actually here. Let's move this up a bit. Let's relabel the diagram. Okay. Okay, zoom this. Alright, so they want you to work out BD. What should we work out first? Before we can work out this red line here, we need to go back to the previous question and use something we worked out here to work out what? So if you look at this, so let's look at this triangle. So we have a triangle within a triangle. So you have this triangle here, this little purple one, inside the big black triangle here, the big one. Now, in order for us to work out this length here, what should we also have? Because we know the bottom here, that's okay, that's good, that helps us. What else should we know before we work out the red side? We should know the angle. Now we worked out that tan of x is 3. Is the tan of x the same as x? It's not, is it? We worked out tan of x is 3. We need the actual value of x. What can we do if we go back to the previous question here?
Tan minus 1.
So opposite of tan is, it's called opposite tan, which is just inverse tan. So we do now here on this side, tan to the minus 1. So if I write it down a bit more neat over here on the bottom, so x is equal to tan to the minus 1 of 3. Okay, now button we press. Okay, I know you can't see this in the camera, but I'm just going to read it through it. So you press shift, you press tan button, and now we just press the number 3, close the brackets, equals 71.56. Yeah, is that what everybody got?
Yeah.
So x is equal to 71.565. Right, now, what do we write down as the actual? Now, because this particular value here is not the actual answer to the question. The question is, look at this length here. What do we do with this angle here? Do we leave it as it is? Remember this question, this part's going to feed into the part that we're going to do now.
Round it up.
Don't round it up.
No.
Good thing you said round it up. Because this is now going to be used in the next part of our question to work out the BD. If you round it up, you'll get rounding errors.
You leave it as
You leave it as is on the calculator, and then we reuse that value in the next calculation. Okay, ready for that one?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. If are we awake here? Not tired, are we? Ready? Okay, I'll leave that value there for the moment. I'm going to get rid of this because I need the space. Okay, now, if this is the angle being bisected exactly in half, what was it originally? 90. What is it now?
45.
45. Okay, what was our angle over here? That one?
71.565.
71 point?
565.
Yeah, 71.57 or something like that.
565.
71.56.
65.
Okay, now, work that one out for me.
The answer is 63.43494882.
Okay, 63 point,
I think.
63.4, yeah?
Yeah.
63.4 degrees, this one becomes, if you round off to 1 decimal place, for this one it becomes 71.6.
6.
Then that's right. Okay, now, if you look at it this way and we think of it as the angle bisector, now what do we know here? We want to work out the red side. We know the angle, we want to work out the side. We know this angle, we know this side as well, we know this pairs information. What do we use for that? Okay. A over sine A,
And it would be
B over sine B. Okay, now that is the rule. Here we got B, C and D. That's the general rule. If I want to adapt to this question, so I'm talking about big C, little c is over here. Okay, we got big B and we got here little b over here. Okay, and this part D, for the moment I'm going to call it A. And this will be my little a. Okay, so we are working with A and C. A and C, so I'm just going to change that to C because that also is part of the identity as well. Now, what do we know? We know this, which is here. We know this, which is there. This one we don't know. And this one we know. So everything on the sine rule we know apart from C. So, Mr. Ramiz, how do I make C the subject on the right hand side? What do I do with the sine C?
Actually, multiply with the A.
So opposite of divided by sine C is
Times.
on the top, yeah? So if you rewrite it, it will look like this. Sine of C, okay, time by A, divided by sine of A.
Divide or time?
That stays as is. and that will give you the value of C. What I'm going to do now, because I'm limited for space on the board at the moment, I'm going to rub off the letters and start putting the numbers in. Okay, keep it on the timer. Now, what is the big value of C, Idris? The big value of C is the x value, which is equal to what? 71.6. So I'm going to take the C out from my, you have to rewrite here. So I'm writing in my one 71.6. Now, what is the little a? Okay, so here the little a is what? The little a is?
6.
Okay, I think I'll move them. Yeah. The little a is 6. So I'll take the add, put 6 in there.
1 minute left.
What is the big A?
62.4.
63.4.
1 minute left.
Okay, right, let's work this out, folks. You shut down and can you put it into the calculator as you see it there? What's the answer?
6.36.
Not there yet.
Okay, 6.36, and that will be an answer to 2 decimal places. Okay, that's lovely. Okay, here is the right angle triangle. Calculate the size of the angle marked X. Give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So first of all, this is what we do. Opposite right angle is the hypotenuse. Opposite the angle they give you is called the opposite, and the remaining side is the adjacent. Now, this question is between what and what? This question is between H and A. So if you're thinking about our soccer tower, so which one's got A and a H in it?
Cat.
Yeah. Okay. So in cat we know the A, we know the H, and we've got to work out the cos of the angle. That one. That's the right one. So cat is written like this. Okay. Right. So we have got to work out angles. What we do here, we cover that up with our finger, our thumb. So we want to work out cos of the angle. That's A over H. Now, Idris, I want to work out the angle. What do I do with the cos? Grab the cos and take it over. What's opposite of cos on this side? What is it?
Cos inverse.
Inverse cos. Okay? Opposite of cos, inverse cos of the A and the H value. That will equal the theta, and in this case that's x. So that symbol becomes x. Okay? Now what we need to do, put the values in there. I'm going to rub off the letters and put the values in as I do it. You do it properly please by writing here again. So the A value is equal to
5.5.
5.5. The H value is equal to 8. Okay, now time for calculators. So we press shift, the cos button, it comes with a bracket. We press the fraction button over here, and then we press 5.5 on the top, press replay to bring the cursor down, then 8, replay to bring the cursor back up, close the brackets. Okay, so as you see it here, that's how you should see it there. Press equals, and that gives us 46.5674.
But if you round it up, it's 46.6.
Okay, so far we got 46.5674.
6344.
Okay, that's what we need for the moment here, but it goes here, give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So we stop over here, we look at the 6, if it's 5 or more you add 1. So the final answer for this will be 46.6, what is it? Degrees, because it's an angle. That's the value of x, which is there. And that's the first one. Okay? Are you happy with that, folks?
Yeah.
So you have to identify, first of all we label the diagram, then we identify which part of the trig we're going to use, then we have to cover it up with the hand or the thumb or whatever you're going to do it, and that tells you what to divide, and then you have to do the cos. So all you want is the angle. Okay? You don't want cos of the angle, you want just the angle. Okay, let's finish with this next part of the question, then we can have a break for Salah. Smee, can you check what time Maghrib is on the timetable, please? Okay, right. I'm gonna need to rub that off now. Then we'll see my rubber. Read. 40 values. Okay. Let's have a look at the next question. Okay, now we've got to work out length. So here's another right angle triangle, calculate the value of y, give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So let's do this bit more. Okay, first step of any trigonometry question. Yeah, we start with the right angle. Opposite the right angle, there was the longest side called the hypotenuse. That's nice and straightforward. Idris, what's the side opposite the angle? The side which is opposite the angle is the opposite, and the remaining side has to be the adjacent. So you don't label the adjacent first. That's by default is the leftover one. Now, what do we know? We now know A and we know the angle. Okay, Zishan, can you just put in here theta symbol? That's the Greek symbol for angle. So we know the angle and we know the A. Right, let's do our SOHCAHTOA. S-O-H, I'm going to do that one now. SOHCAHTOA. Okay. Ifra, is it clear? Yes, it hasn't completed, has it?
No.
Good. Okay, now, remember, when you do the SOHCAHTOA, next to the S should be what? Should be there?
Theta.
Yeah.
Theta.
Okay. Alright. SOHCAHTOA. Now, we're looking to work out the y values. So that's always what we need to work out. So we use 2 ticks and a cross. We tick what we know and we cross what we need to know. So what do we know, Azishan? We know the
Adjacent.
and we know the angle. Not angle, that's something completely different. Alright, let's tick the angle. Okay, let's find the up. So we know the adjacent, so tick the adjacent. And we know the angle, tick the angle. Okay, what do we want to work out? The opposite. So what do we do with the opposite? We put a cross. So which one has got 2 ticks and a cross in it?
Toa.
Toa. So it's a tan. Now, in order to use this triangle properly, we get your thumb and we cover up the O. And what did I tell you about? How do you work out O then? So O is equal to tan of the angle times by adjacent. So let's write that down first, yeah? So we know that O is equal to tan of the angle times by A. How do we know that? We cover up what we need to work out and the rest of the triangle tells us what to do. That times by that. That's what we've written down over here. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to take out, I'm going to take out my values and put in the, well, I'll just write underneath. What's the angle?
40.
Tan of 40. What is the A value?
12.
12. That is O, which in this case is Y in context of the question. Let's work that out. On your calculators.
The answer is 10.1.
So we got, do you press
I got,
the normal tan button?
I got
40.
About 1.678.
Okay, when you do the calculation first, can you make sure that after the tan, you get a bracket, 40, close the bracket,
Yeah.
and then type by 12, yeah?
I got
I tried
1062.
1062. Okay, what have you got, Idris?
You know, I can't create the bracket of
Okay, this one.
Okay. 10.06.
10.06. Girls in the back, what have you got?
Same.
10.06.
Yeah,
that's what I got
if
as
you
well.
round it off, it's
Okay, before we start rounding up, let's write that down first. So we have 10.06, whatever that is. And each time we're going to do that to 1 decimal place. So we stop over here. We look at the 6. Because it's 5 or more, we add 1 to that part. So the final value of y is equal to
10.1.
10.1. Because it is a length, it is 10.1 what?
Centimeters.
10.1 centimeters. Three. So move it up a bit. Okay, question number 3. PQR is the right angle triangle. PQR is the right angle triangle. They've given us some measurements. 3 centimeters and 10 centimeters. Work out the size of angle RPQ. So in this question here, Mr. Umar, we have to work out where's RPQ? RPQ, somebody put a hat on it. R to P to Q is represented by this angle here. This is angle R, P, Q. Okay? That's the angle they're interested in. Now, once you put the angle on there, what do we do first, Mr. Zishan? We start with the angle and we go opposite the angle and we call the side which is opposite the angle, we call it the
Opposite.
opposite. That was very difficult, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not. And the side which is opposite the right angle is called the, and so the left elbow side has to be the adjacent. Excellent, lovely, good. Now, if we look at this question, what do we know? We know the adjacent and we know the opposite. So now, if you want to just do soccer towa in your head, soccer towa is between what letters? O and A. What sound does that make? Towa. So it's going to be tan. Towa. Okay. Towa. So that's a quick way for us to quickly find the correct identity without doing lots of messing about. We can easily get to where we want to get to straight away. Okay, how do we know that? Rutaba, if we know the O and we know the A, we say Owa, and Owa goes with Towa, which is tan, identity. Now, what do we do, Idris? What we know, we tick it. And what we don't know, which is the angle here, theta. Okay, that's RPQ is actually that angle there. So that's the Greek symbol theta. Okay? So that's what that's referring to. So tan of the angle. So if you wanted to, you could get rid of this and just put here tan of RPQ. Put into context of the question. Now what don't we know? We don't know the angle. Now what do? We get the thumb, we cover what you want to work out, and what's it telling you now, Idris? If I cover this up here, what have I got left over?
Who divided by
A. Right. Let's write this bit down. So tan of my angle remember it's tan of the angle. That's why some of you are making mistakes. You just write down tan. Zisha, you got that point there? Tan of the angle is equal to, so this is what you say it was? O over A. Right, now let's put the O and the A value in there, and we want to work out this. I need to get rid of the tan. So Samia, what's the opposite tan?
Tan inverse.
Inverse tan. So we grab the tan from here, we take it over to the side, and it becomes a tan to the -1 of O over A. And that will give us RPQ. Okay, right. You happy with that? Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to rub off the letter, put the numbers in there. Okay, now, Mr. Umar, what is the value of O?
7.
The value of O?
3.
3. Okay, Ramiz, what's the value of A?
10.
Right, now let's put that into our calculators. So in the calculator, we're going to press shift and the tan button. That'll give us tan to the -1. Now we need to put this fraction in. So you press the fraction button, which is a white rectangle over a white empty rectangle. That one there. That gives us a fraction. Press 3, replay, brings the cursor to the bottom. 10, replay, close the brackets. Have you got that? Switch, go that in there. And we press equal. We get an answer of 16.699 for the moment. Okay, let's have a look here. 16.699. 16.699. Okay, now the question says here, okay, let's have a figure. It says 3 significant figures. So 3 significant figures. The first significant figure starts where here? No. Starts first significant figure, second, third. So the 9 is the decider. If it's 5 or more, you add 1. It is more than 5.
So it'll be 16.7.
So it'll be 16.6 add 1 will give you the 7. So the final answer will be 16.7
Centimeters.
no, degrees. It's a small angle because it's quite long, that's quite short. Okay, so 16.7 degrees angle. Okay, I'm going to rub that off, move on quickly on to the next question. That's all question number 3 done. That's all they wanted for that question. That's 3 marks. This you managed to get that? You managed to get that? Okay, good. In the examination, just trying to give you some techniques for doing it quickly. Okay, this is question number 4. Okay, now ABC is a right angle triangle. They'll give you some measurements on here. Work out the area of the triangle. So now, area of the triangle is equal to the base times by the height divided by 2. Always write down the formula, even though you might know that. It's a simple formula. What is the base, Ramiz?
The base is 8.5.
Okay, what is the height, Zishan?
7.
Okay, now then we divide it by 2. Okay, 8.5 divided by 2.
Time by 7 divided by 2.
Yeah, 8.5 times by 7 divided by 2. That will give us an answer of
29.27.
9.75.
20.75. Is that all the answers on the calculator?
Yeah.
Okay, 29.75. And if they asked us to write off in any particular way?
No.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. That 2 decimal places is okay as well as a mathematical answer. So the area is that, and then it'll be centimeters squared. That's the area. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
Right, next part of the question is, look at the next part of the question. I'm not going to move the board up. We'll lose the triangle. We'll work out the length of AC and give the answer to 2 decimal places. AC now. Right, that's not AC Milan, that's something else. Right, let's have a look at this one. So we have to work out now, do we need to use trigonometry here?
Pythagoras.
No, you should use Pythagoras theorem because we've got a right angle triangle. We've got to work out the third side now. Opposite the right angle on a opposite the right angle on a right angle triangle is always the hypotenuse. Okay, I call the other sides B and C. That's what I call them. Call them in any order you like. Okay, ignore this B here for the moment, and ignore the C for here for the moment. Okay. Right. The rule I teach my students is hypotenuse squared is equal to the other 2 sides squared and added together. This might vary from what you learned in school. In school you normally learn hypotenuse squared as
C.
A squared equals B squared. That's one version. That's another version.
In my school it's like C squared equals B squared minus.
Okay, that's
B
another
squared,
version.
something like that.
Okay, there's so many different versions of the actual formula. I'm trying to teach you a version that you can remember and understand in the examination. So I'm going to use my version. This is all the same. Okay. Whatever is over here squared, that's always the hypotenuse. That's the best way to remember it. Hypotenuse squared. What is the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is equal to
AC.
AC. And the B value is equal to 7. So 7 squared. Plus C squared. What's C equal to?
8.5.
8.5 squared. Now, the way I label my diagram B and C, I'm not using their lettering. I've rubbed off their lettering completely for the moment. So we don't get confused with our lettering not corresponding with their big letters. Now, B and C can be put in any order. That's arbitrary order I've chosen. It doesn't matter. If you call this one B and that one C, or the way I've labeled it at the moment. Okay? So you just label one of them B, one of them C. So AC squared. Right now, Mr. Idris, I don't want AC squared, I want AC. So to do the squared, we grab the squared,
Square root T.
take it over, it becomes a
Square root.
square root. So everything you got to do step by step. So we have 7 squared plus 8.5 squared. So we grab our calculators and we type in as we see it here.
11.0.
So you press square root button first, and then we type in 7 squared, add 8.5 squared, and as you can see the square root sign gets bigger and the numbers get bigger. Press equal, it gives you a third SD button. So what do we get? 11.011. 11.011, yeah?
0.1.
Okay, whatever that is. Now the question says, it says give us 2, what to say?
2 decimal.
2 dp. Okay, Mr. Idris, are we happy with what 2 dp is?
Yeah.
1, 2. Look at that number there. Is that number 5 or more? No. So we leave it as 11.01. So we can say now confidently that we get rid of that. Yes. Okay, 11.01. Okay, is that final answer? Done. Okay, right. That's question 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, 4 finishes onto this page.
There's another question.
Yeah, big 4.
Okay, right. Bismillah, right. This is the last part. This is that part of that question. This is question 4C. Question 4C. So we're carrying on with the trigonometry theme here. So we have D to E is 32 millimeters, F to E is 48 millimeters. We're going to work out the angle Y. It's a very accurate to 1 decimal place. So let's have a look what we do first. The first thing that we do is label up the diagram. And we say opposite the angle involved, opposite the angle is called the opposite. Now, next, opposite the right angle always is the HYP. Or the hypotenuse. Sorry, the hypotenuse. Okay, and then the remaining side will have to be the adjacent. You always label the adjacent last. So now we've labeled it all up, and we want to work out the angle. So the angle here is the culprit. We're going to work that out. Now, what do we know in this question? What letters do we know, Idris? Can you say back to me, what does it sound like? We know the O and the A, and O and A together makes OVA. And from OVA we're going to be using TOVA. So that's the tan identity. So when we, for example, looking at soccer TOVA, because we got an O and A, that's the last identity, and I'm going to write it in the triangular format. Okay, now this symbol here, theta, which is the Greek symbol we use for angle, this here actually corresponds to my Y. We'll do that in a bit. Now, what do we know? We know the O value and we know the A value. We've got to work out this value. So we know it, and we don't know it. 2 ticks in the cross, yes?
Because I'm talking to you divide.
Hmm?
Are you divide because I'm talking to each other?
I'm getting there. You want some ahead of me? Okay, now what we do? As I said before, we cover up this. What you want to work out, you cover with your thumb. So now, as Mr. Haruna just told us, if you cover this up, you have to do O divided by A. So that's why we use the formula triangle. You cover up with your thumb what you want to work out, and tells you what to do. So let's write that down. So let's write down tan of the angle. Okay, what can I replace the angle with? I can replace the angle with, in the context of my question, the angle is what? What's the angle? Y. Tan of Y is equal to the O divided by the A. The O divided by the A. I'm just going to write down the formula for the moment. That's what the tan of Y is. Now, in this particular question, do I want to work out the tan of Y, or do we want to work out just Y on its own?
We need to work out the Y on its own.
Y on its own. So what do we do with the tan then in that case?
Make it minus.
So the tan is acting on the Y, so we've got to take the tan from the left hand side to the right hand side and do the opposite of tan. It's called inverse tan. Okay, so we have now Y is equal to tan to the minus 1 of O over A. So that is, so from the OVA we can see that we're going to cover this part up with our finger, and that gives us this. That's the interpretation from the triangle. Then we start rearranging the equation because we want to work out the Y. So once we rearrange it, now we're ready to put the values in. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm just going to rub off the O. Okay, I'm putting the value of 32. You can't rub off your O unless you're using pencil. Then rub off the A. I'm putting the value of 48. So now I'm going to go through with you the calculator button. So I want everybody to do the same, please. Press shift. Press shift first, then the tan button. Then you press your fraction button. And then you type in 32. Replay 48. Replay again. Bring the cursor back up. Press the bracket. Press equal. We'll get an answer of 33.69006. Ramil, can you feed that number back to me, please? Y is equal to 33.69005. Now the question says here, if I look at the original paper, give your answer correct to 1 dp. Okay, now 1 dp, let's have a... So let's just go through the technique here. So that's my first decimal place. So top of line down here, that's my last digit. That's my decider. If it's 5 or more, we add 1 to the last digit. So the 6 then becomes a 7. So I'm going to rub that off, change that into 7 and get rid of everything else. That was originally here. And that's my answer done. So y is equal to 33.7 degrees because it's an angle. That's that question done. This one is question number
6.
6. For those of you who haven't done question number 6 or stuck on question number 6, let's go through it now. In this particular question, we have a triangle ABC. It's a right angle triangle indicated by this little square in the corner. We've been asked to work out the length of AB in this question. Now what do we do? First of all, we label the diagram. Now I will start at the right angle. Opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse, which is 18. Okay, we've done that first, so we label it. And then opposite the angle they gave you is called the opposite. And the leftover side is called the adjacent. So we first of all label the diagram. Now, what do we want to work out? We want to work out the adjacent. What do we have? We have the angle and the hypotenuse. So now, if you look at the letters that we have here, we have A and H. The question is between the A and the H. So the A and the H makes a what sound? Ah. So we have Sakatoa. So which one's going to be? Ka. Cos. So we can quickly, by looking at the sound of the A and the H, it's an A and H one. So we can say it's going to be right. Now what do we want to work out is the A, and we know these. Excellent. Now what is the technique? We get your thumb in the question and cover it up, so the A will be equal to the cos of the angle times by the hypotenuse. It's telling you what to do. Okay, so let's write that down. So the adjacent is equal to the cos of the angle multiplied by the hypotenuse. Now I'm going to start to put the values in there. So Mr. Haroon, the angle here is 58 degrees. I'm going to rid of this. Put the brackets in for how we see on the calculator. And the H value is 18. Okay, so I'll replace my letters with the substitute the numbers in there. Now it's calculator practice. Okay, see my calculator. You get that right, yeah? Yeah, get that one right. Okay, so you press, there's no shift, just normal cos. So cos, bracket pops up, type in 58, cos bracket, times by 18, equals 9.5385. So the A value is equal to, come to me, is 9.5385. This is right, a couple of digits down. And the question asks us for 3 significant figures. So, unos, dos, and tres. The last digit decided this number is bigger than 5 or more, so that 3 becomes a 4. We add 1 onto it. So I'm just going to get rid of it and change it. So the A value is equal to 9.54, what is it, meters?
Yeah.
Done. Okay. That's the end of that question. And now we're going to have a break, inshallah. Right, bismillah. Okay, question number 7. Here's the examination question I'm going to read after the original one. So we have here a non-right angle triangle, okay? The key word is non-right angle triangle. So what should we not use in this question? We shouldn't be using trigonometry. Sakatoa doesn't work on this question. Okay, I don't even think about Pythagoras theorem. Those things don't work here. So the question says that we've got ABC is a triangle. So we know this length is 8 from here to here, and that length is 15. It says calculate the area of the triangle. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. Okay, question number 7.
Sine and cosine is it?
That's a special variation of one of the formulas. Area equals half AB sin C. Okay?
That normally be at the front of the exam.
Yeah, it'll normally be the front exam paper, it's not on this paper, so you need to memorize it.
How do you know when to use that formula?
You know, do that formula because in this question the key word here is calculate the area. Because it's not a so because they mentioned the word area, you must use this variation of the formula. Okay, done. Now, let's relabel. That's how the formula looks generally. Now we have to put the letters in context of our diagram. Now the C here is talking about the angle they're giving the question. Our angle is actually called B, and the A and B are the other two sides. Now what we can do here, okay, there's no harm in losing the examination at all. I'm just going to do this. Okay, can we have that as that one? Actually, we don't. This one here we're going to call the C. So we're going to relabel it C. The C that's here we're going to call that B. Okay, you'll see why in a second. Okay. Now let's make that a bit more nicer. That doesn't look too nice. That looks like C. That looks like something weird. Okay, let's make it like this. Okay, okay. Nice big fat C. Okay, have you done that? Have you done the labeling? So I've relabeled the triangle so the labeling matches my formula. That C is the angle. So that C is referring to the angle that they're giving us. They've labeled as B, we're going to relabel as C. So that's going to be my little c. And that's my big A. And opposite the big A is the corresponding little a. Opposite the big B is the little b. So do not feel afraid in the examination to relabel the original triangle so it fits the formula properly. Okay? Now, are we happy with the formula? Are we happy with the relabeling? How are we happy? Go on. Yeah, happy with that. Now what we're going to do is just throw the values in there and type into the calculator. So let's have a go. So we have here now the area is equal to half. That stays as it is. Now the A value. What is the little a? The little a is 15. Okay, and then we multiply by the B value. What is the B value?
8.
B value is 8. And then we multiply by the sine of C. What's the big C? The big C is?
112.
Look at that. Don't have a moment. Okay, once we relabel the diagram so it matches our formula properly, then we start substituting the values in, the A value, B value and the big C value. Okay, once we put those values in, we now put that into the calculator. Where's my calculator? Okay, now has anybody got them?
55.631.
Okay, actually, I'll go family. Pass this calculator. Pass it back. So on the calculator, we type in, and the half can be put in as what? 0.5, just for simplicity. Time by 15, time by 8, time by the sine of 112. Close the brackets, press equal. That gives 55.63. Come on ladies, focus. 55.63, and they're asked us to give it correct to how many significant figures? 3. So, 1, 2, 3 significant figures. That's the decider. It's less than 5, so you leave it alone. You leave it alone. I'm just going to rub it off. And there's my answer. So the A value, the area is 55.6 centimeters square. There's a space on the bottom of the question for you to put the answer on. Okay, are we happy with that now? So that's a new formula that we're using today. That formula is normally at the front of the exam paper, yes.
So is C always going to be the angle?
In this, because there's also always different like versions of the letters. It's the same formula, but that angle there, that big C, is the angle they've given you.
And does it not matter if you have A or B the opposite way?
It doesn't matter if you have A and B the opposite way, it doesn't matter. Now, another quick, good thing you asked me now. Here's the angle, and on this side you have the length, and on this side you have the length. So you know this, and you know the angle in between it. That's when you know it's this formula. When you know an angle and the sides around it. So then you use this particular formula.
Is that on the actual exam paper?
That's on the exam paper at the front. That formula is. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So today we're not teaching you how to do trigonometry. We are just going through trigonometry questions, we're revising. So let's get rid of this now and move on to the next question. Okay, right, let's have a look. Okay. Right, the next question has been set up in the style of like a bearing style question. That's the way it's been set up. So I'm going to move the triangle. Ifra, can you see everything on there?
Yeah.
And my fingers all there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to move this up a bit because I'm sure we need to have the triangle. Yeah. Right, here we go. This is question number 8. It says town B is due 4.6 kilometers due west of town C. So on the west of that one is this one. And town A is 2.3 kilometers due north of town B. This just states the obvious. They're already giving you on the diagram. Okay, ladies in the back, are you paying attention, Afira?
Yeah.
Yeah? Calculate the size of angle marked X. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So the context is of a bearing question. Now we've got to work at the angle X. Let's work it out. This one here. Now, first thing we do whenever we do any trigonometrical question, what we do, we label the diagram. Opposite the angle they've given you is called the... Opposite the right angle is called the... And the leftover side has to be the... Okay, that's how we label, that's how we start the question. Each question starts with that. Now, what do we know? In this particular question, we know the value of O, and we know the value of A. And if you pronounce O and A together, you get OA. And OA comes from the trigonometric identity TOA, which is the shorthand that we use to help us to memorize it. So TOA. From soccer, TOA. Okay, I'm taking my time to write this out because you need to do that in examination. Write out TOA so you get in the right place. And what do we want to work out? We want to work out the angle. It's the angle we don't know, and we know these. Right. Now, Fira, if I want to work out the angle, what do we use? Thumb. And we cover up the angle, and that tells us that this part here is equal to O divided by A. So let's write that down. So we have now so that's telling us now what to do. Okay, but we've got one little bit extra to do here. I don't want to work out the tan of the angle, which is corresponding to my x. Idris, what do I want to work out here? I don't want to tan of the angle, I want to work just the angle. Move the tan over. The tan goes from here to there. So the angle is equal to tan to the minus. Opposite of tan function is inverse tan, which is tan minus 1. O over A. And that's where we start the question. So Mr. Zishan, can you start feeding me some values now, please? What is the O value?
2.2.
Okay, I'm going to rub mine off here and put in here 2.3. Mr. Ramiz, I've rubbed off the A value now. Ramiz, the A value is equal to 4.6. Okay, so now in your calculators, folks, I'll go through with you on the board. So just follow me. So to get tan minus 1, press shift and then the tan. That gives you tan minus 1. To get the fraction arrangement, press the fraction button. Type in 2.3, press replay.
26.6.
4.6, replay, bring it back up, close the bracket. So what you see here is exactly what I can see here. Okay, that's what's called natural V-time. Okay, visually perfect algebraic method. Okay, done. Press equal. Okay, what do you get, Rumiz?
26.6.
Okay, yeah, give me the rest of the, give me the actual original also.
26.5.
26.565, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right. Idris, how many significant figures do we need for that question, Idris? 1, 2, 3. If this number is 5 or more, we add 1. That number is 6. What do we do to this 5 then? Make into a 6. Get rid of all that. So the angle is equal to 26.6 degrees. And we're done. Okay, the next question is only worth 1 mark. Find the bearing of town C from town A. Find the bearing of town C.
To town A.
So town C
Oh, this is basically
from
100 and something.
town A. Now, when we do bearing questions, Harun, do we start at the town C in this by the language of the question? Am I going to start my position at C or A? A, because it was from A. Okay, from A. So let's go to A.
100 something.
So we're over here. We're facing north direction, and we've got to go towards town C. Which angle are we going to work out?
That angle there.
That angle there. Okay, that's the angle we've got to work out.
So would we need a protractor?
You can't use a protractor because it says in the question, diagram not accurately drawn. So we have to work it out. Now, we want to work out this angle here. Do we know this angle?
No, yes we do. 26.6.
So this angle can now be replaced by
And angles in
90 at 26.6.
what do these? That's already 90. That's 90. That's 26.6 degrees. So what's this angle here going to be then? Can somebody work that out on the calculator, please?
Add them together.
So add them up minus 180.
So it's 63.4.
Okay, is everybody happy with 63.4?
Yeah.
And a quick check is that these two must add up to 90. So 60, 80,
Yeah.
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 Now can we work the angle out now?
Yeah.
Reese, can we work it out now?
Yeah.
Because these two must add up to 180.
Take it.
Take it away. So to work out this angle here, this one, so we do 180 degrees
66.6.
minus 63.4 degrees. That'll give us an answer of
116.6
116.6
degrees.
That's
Yeah.
excellent.
Bang on.
That is bang on.
Silly bang.
Hang on a minute. Say bang on. Okay, here we go. Right. Bismillah. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, folks, welcome back. Question number 10. I'm going to read it from here. It says on the side of here, diagram not accurately drawn. Please do not start measuring angles. A lot of students do that. Diagram not accurately drawn, that's what it means. Don't measure it. So first we'll be given a non-right angle triangle here. We have A, B, C. A to C is 9 meters. A to B is 11 meters. And B to C is 15 meters. That's what's given to you on the bottom of the listing. Which is again, it's like a bit of a no-brainer. You can see in the diagram. It says calculate the size of angle BAC. BAC is that angle in the middle. So I'm just going to make it stand out a bit more. This is the angle that we're interested in. And that angle is called BAC. Okay, that's the angle that we're looking for. Now, in this type of question, we know all three sides of the triangle. And we want to work out angle. Put your hand up if you know which rule we're going to follow. I'll give you a selection. We can use sine rule or cosine rule. Can't even think about using soccer talk because that's only for right angle triangles. So one person says sine rule.
Cosine.
We use cosine. When you have three sides, and the angle is always cosine rule. So let's write down what the cosine rule is first of all. So now the cosine rule starts with the basic in this normal format. A squared is equal to
B squared plus
B squared
plus
Plus
C.
plus C squared minus 2 BC
cos of the angle.
cos of the A according to this formula.
Divided by 2A.
Okay, according to this formula.
Or you don't have to do that.
That's A is the angle that you're looking for. Does that match our diagram?
Yes.
In this case it does. Okay, Idris? So that A matches our A, so we don't need to change the formula, the diagram. We don't need to relabel it. Now, so we want to work out this A, which we don't know at the moment. Do we know what the little b is? So here's the big B, the little b is
9.
here. If this is the big C, the little c is
11.
the one which is opposite, that's its corresponding side. So we know the B, we know the C. We know the B, we know the C. Do we know what the A value is?
Little a.
Little a is what?
15 meters.
Okay. Do we all know what our 2 is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And now, on our formula here, Harun, do we know everything apart from this one item? We know this, yes? Know it, know it, we know it, know it, know it, and we don't know it. So we've got to rearrange the equation and make the big A the subject. Right, are we ready for some rearrangement?
You move the minus 2 BC cos A to that side.
Okay, now first of all we're going to move over. So A is being acted on by the cos, then being acted on by multiplied by minus 2 BC.
Yeah.
So this here, I'm going to do this ticks now. So,
We'll go together.
hang on 1 second folks. I'm going to do this ticks for the moment. So if I start at the A A is being acted on by cos, that's the first action. Then it's been multiplied by minus 2bc, this is called the second action. Then it's been acted on by, for example, a plus c squared is the third action, and a plus b squared, which is the
Fourth.
so we got 4 things in that. Okay. So now when we solve, we always rearrange the question in which order? In the same order as the numbers, or in the opposite order?
Opposite.
Opposite order. So first action, second action, third action, fourth action. We always move the last action first. So the opposite of add b squared is?
Minus b squared.
I'm not going to keep on rewriting it, so let's do the next. Opposite of add c squared is?
Minus c squared.
I'm just taking it over. Okay. Now the opposite of so I've done that one. Opposite of multiplying by minus 2bc. This is part where students make mistakes. But listen carefully. Listen to all my words. Opposite of multiplying by minus 2bc is dividing by.
Plus
2bc.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you said that. Let's write over here. We've got 2 answers here. Okay, now I've heard in the class 2 answers. I'm glad you said the 2 answers. That's why we get an examination. The opposite of multiply is divide, and the opposite of minus is okay. Is that right?
Yes.
No.
No, it's
No.
not.
Minus.
That's just as a minus.
Minus.
Wait.
That's a common mistake.
When you divide, it stays, isn't it?
No, let me tell you what's happening. The action that we are undoing a multiplying action. Opposite of multiplying is division. You don't reverse that. That's not the action.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So
It stays the same.
the minus stays the same. We don't reverse both. So the minus here stays as it is. Okay? Opposite, listen to what I'm saying. Opposite of multiplying by minus 2bc. So write that quickly. So that's the action. So we reverse that by division, but this part here stays exactly the same. We do not reverse the minus. That's a mistake, common mistake. Now what we got left now, we got the cos to move over. Opposite of cos on an A is inverse. Inverse cos.
Yeah.
Yes? Inverse cos. Okay.
So you just
That's
bracket
great.
it.
Can you see this part of the board?
Yeah, you can.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm right over here then.
But it's not as clear.
It's gonna be
Is
dark.
that clear what I've written down there? Does it come up on the video? Because that's where the light is.
Yeah, ish.
Should be okay. Okay, right. So now I've moved everything over bit by bit. Grabbed it, moved over. Grabbed it, moved over. Grabbed it, moved over. Grabbed it, moved over. And we got this. So the big A is equal to the cos minus 1 of all of this. Now, what do we do now? We have to put those things in the
The value.
put the values in. I'm rewriting this over here now. So cos minus 1 from here goes to here. Now let's start putting some values in. Okay, now. Okay, Mr. Omar, what's the A value?
15.
15. So A squared is 15 squared minus the B squared. Ramiz, what's B?
B is minus.
B is?
Minus 9.
So it'll be minus
9.
9 squared. Okay, Mr. Idris, what's C value?
Hello.
C value is 11, so it's minus 11 squared. Okay. On the bottom I have here a minus, a big fat minus here. Minus a 2 times by the B value.
9.
Times by the C value.
11.
11. Lovely. Now what you see here, and as you see here, you type it into your calculator.
Done it.
Literally as a calculation, and we get this answer is
96.7. 6, 7. Oh, no, it's 6.
Round it off to
96.7.
96.7.
Indeed.
Sir.
okay. Yeah. And we've got to give that answer to how many decimal places?
1.
1.
96.
So we stop there. That's more than 5. Add 1. The answer becomes 96 points.
7.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's an angle, yeah?
Sir.
Okay, right. Triangles got triangles inside triangles. So this one, sorry, one triangle, two triangle, another third triangle over here on the side. Now, okay. The question says, first of all, we have to work out, so they give you some measurements of this right angle triangle here of 7 and 3. It says, work out the length of CD. And to work out the length of CD, okay, we have a right angle triangle here, don't we? If that's a right angle here, that's a straight line. What do we know automatically by default? That's right angle here. That one must also be a.
Right
So
angle.
that's a straight line. 90 at 90 will give you 180. So we get that kind of angle. You must make sure that you realize that. So triangle CBD. What I'm going to do, I'm make it that dark, so you know which triangle I'm talking about. Okay. Please excuse my slightly wonky lines. Right. So I'm looking at this black triangle here. This one here, the black triangle. This one, and then the red part there. We need to work out CD. How much piece of information do we have currently?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not too much.
Okay, be precise. Tell me how many pieces of information do we have in
One,
that triangle?
two,
No, in this triangle. Don't look at around the whole board.
Just one.
Just one. Can you work out anything from one piece of information?
Yes.
No.
You cannot. Okay.
Can't do it.
You have to work out from the others, don't you?
So we have to
Right there.
go to this triangle,
Indeed.
work out this length from this triangle, and then use it for that triangle. Yeah? You happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, now where's my board? I'm going to rub off this black line here. So we're going to come to that triangle in a moment. I'm going to put some lines on here now. So I'm putting these lines on to show you which triangle I'm concentrating on. Which triangle I'm looking at. So we're trying to work out that length there. That length there will help me with that triangle. So let's work it out first. We're using the blue information for the triangle only. So, what type of triangle is this?
Right, so right angle
This is
triangle.
right angle triangle, yeah? This triangle, okay. Harun, are you happy with the blue triangle? You know everything else at the moment. I've got to work out the height. Now, opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse. Okay, and then we label the other sides. If you want to just have side 1 and side 2. If you want to use the formula that we said earlier, was hypotenuse squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. Now that is here. That b squared and c squared is generic term for side 1 squared and side 2 squared.
Would
Okay?
you minus it now because you work around?
Yeah, we will be minusing that. Okay? This b and c means just the other two sides. This is the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse squared on this one is what? What is the hypotenuse on this diagram?
7.
7. So at the moment we've got 7 squared. B squared means one of the other sides. So I'm going to call this one my b squared. Which is what?
3.
3. C squared means the other side, the third side. So if you mention 7, we mention 3, what's left over is the question mark side.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to work out. Question mark squared. Okay, the question mark split, okay? You happy with that, folks? We're going to work out that question mark, that height there instead of BC. Now, how do we work that out? So the question mark's been squared and been added by 3 squared. First action, second action.
Yeah.
So the opposite of adding 3 squared is?
Minus.
Okay, happy with that so far?
Equal
Now,
to square.
Harun, I want to get rid of the squared now. So opposite squaring is? Square rooting. So on your calculators, please folks, work that out. And that's question mark here actually represents which length? B to C. So let's get some answers please from
6.32455.
let me just quickly check that.
2.
So square root 7 squared minus 3 squared equals 2 root 10. So 6.3245, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave that there for the moment.
It's 2 pretty significant numbers.
Okay, the 3 significant numbers is actually for the CD, which we saw. At the moment, I'm not going to round that for the moment. Because I'm going to use that to work out my answer, then I'm going to round my answer. I'm not rounding this for the moment, I'm just leaving it as it is for the moment. Now, that question mark, we can replace that with what? With this?
6.324.
Okay, now the first part of the question has been done. I'm going to rub off the blue lines here. This stuff there. Now we're going to now let's have a look which triangle we're looking at now. We are back to the triangle that we're looking at the beginning of the question. So which triangle are we looking at now? Is Reese we looking at? this triangle here, the middle one. Now, we know the height as in centimeters. We know the angle. Now, can we work out CD? Yes. This is called a gold problem. You've got to work out something first, then work out the answer. So let's work out the CD now. Let's get rid of all this. Now, before we work out the CD, let's label the diagram as we do. Start from the right angle in the corner. Opposite right angle is always the
Hypotenuse.
opposite right angle is always the hypotenuse. Okay? And then opposite the angle is always the,
Opposite.
so this is opposite. And the remaining side has to be the
Adjacent.
Okay, so now we've labeled the triangle that's in the middle of all these triangles, and we can now see what we got with this. We know the angle, 48 degrees, tick. We know the opposite, tick. And we want to work out the hypotenuse. Now what sign does O and H make? Oh. So that comes from, we have Sokotoa, that comes from Soh, from the sign. So we have Sokotoa, there's the O and H, oh. So if you want to write the rest of it, you can do, but that's the identity we're looking at, is the sign one. Okay, I don't want anybody to joke the gun for the moment. Sign of the angle. Okay, lovely. What do we want to work out in this question? We want to work out the hypotenuse. So we don't know that. Do we know the opposite? Yes. Do we know the angle? Yes. So we cover up the hypotenuse with our finger. That's my thumb on my finger. I'm covering it up. Now, Zishan, tell me what is the rule triangle? I cover up the hypotenuse with my finger. So what is the? How do you work at the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is equal to the opposite divide by the sine of the angle. So when you cover it up, it tells you what to do. So let's do that then. So the hypotenuse is equal to the opposite. Okay, for time?
Yeah, it's fine.
Are you happy with that so far? Dries? Yeah. So are you happy with how you covered up with the thumb and that tells what to do? Okay, now remember that's not S, it's sine of the angle, that's what it represents. So let's put the values in now. What is the O value? The O value is? 6.3245, whatever it was, yeah? Divided by the sine of the angle. So what is it?
48.
You automatically get a bracket in calculator, you just close it off. And that'll give you the H value, and the H value on this diagram corresponds to what? C, D. Right, that's another calculator job now.
8.5.
So I'm actually going to use my answer. Watch this now. I've got my answer already in there, 6.3245. Watch my next calculation. I'm going to press the fraction button. Fraction. And that number is on the top of this. So I use the answer. I'm recycling that value. Replay. Bring it to the bottom. Sign on the bottom. 48. Close the brackets. And we get 8.5105. Is that right?
Yeah.
Three significant figures.
So was it 8.151?
8.5.
Okay, now I'm just looking at some notes here. Amazingly, they've got a rounding error in the answers. This is correct. Okay, now when you have a two-part question, you don't round off your first number unless they ask you to round off. You use the actual number. That makes sure that the full value, the full essence of that number goes through. So CD is actually equal to, in this question, and now how many significant figures is that?
3.
3 SF.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, and we look at the next number, which is 0. So you do nothing.
Yeah.
So the actual final answer is 8.51.
1.
8.51. What is this? Centimeters?
Centimeters, yeah.
Do I have 4 marks?
Yeah.
I know that felt a bit long-winded, but folks, that's how we got to do it.
Yeah.
That's why it's worth 4 marks. They want you to work out something first, then reuse it and work out the next bit. Okay, we're getting close to time. We've got to go. Let's do one more last part.
CE.
Yeah, CE. Right. Folks, are we ready for the next part? These are exam questions though. This is what the exam question will be like. You're not going to get nice questions, all walk in the park questions. You're going to get questions nested inside of the questions. So be ready for it. So that's how we're doing the lesson today. We are looking at examination questions and concentrating how we tackle them. Right. What's that asked for next? Calculate the length of CE. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, now. Right, what did we say? We said here, what was this value here again? We said
0.6.
8.5.
8.51, yeah. CD.
Was this one, isn't it?
8.1, yeah.
Okay, now, can you see the diagram here? We got here, we got to work out CE. Let's put that back into our red color. We got to work out CE. That's what we got to work out.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to go into black, the triangle we're actually working with. Okay, now we have 8.51. Okay, here we go. What's on the back part that we know? Wow.
I got 17.
You got what?
17.
4.
Yeah.
17 for this side here.
No, 17 for the whole answer.
For CTE.
For C3.
You're ahead of us. I'm just making it black. This black part here, black part here. So we're looking at this triangle over here. Okay, so what was your answer? 17?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll soon find out that spectrum now. All will be revealed in a moment.
Now.
Okay, Mr. Haroon, from here to here, what is the angle from there to here? The angle is?
42.
The angle is? From here to here is?
90.
90. Because that's square. So 90 minus the 48 is? 42.
2.
42. I think it's going to be about 7 or 8 centimeters.
42 degrees. Are you happy with the 42 degrees at the moment?
Yeah.
Now, we know this angle. We know this side. What's this side? What is the value of it?
19.
19. This length and that length we know. And the angle in the middle. We've got to work out that side. When I teach cosine rule, I always say to the students, use the L. See this L here? Watch. So, put it over here. Do we know this? Do we know this length here?
Yeah.
Yes. Do we know the angle in the middle?
Yeah.
Do we know this length here?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you know everything in that L here, this length, the angle, and that length, you've got to work out the opposite side. What do we use? Cosine rule. That's an indication of what we're going to be using. So let's write down the cosine rule here. A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos of A. Now, what does the A represent? A represents the angle they gave you, which is in between. So the A is the angle here, and these two lengths that you know. Now, they've labeled it as D. Can we relabel it as A? Yes, let's do it. This D, I'm going to relabel it as A. Watch how I make it look like A. That wasn't hard. That's big A, and the CE is worth my little a. Opposite. A, the E becomes my
B.
B, because it's easy to do it. And the C stays as C. That's good. I've relabeled the diagram, so the diagram now matches my formula. The A corresponds to the angle given to me, and the B and the C values are the ones which are either side. Here's my little b. Opposite the big B is the little b. Opposite the big C is the little c. Equals C. There you go. C. Can you see? C. Okay. Remember, we know this side, we know that side, and we know the angle in the middle. We're going to work out CE, so it's got to be cosine rule. Here's everything now ready to be just thrown into the formula, and inshallah we should be able to work it out. So the A is my CE. Squared. A squared. What's the B value? Okay, Zishan, B value is?
8.51.
Which we got from the previous part of the question. Plus, okay, we have Idris. What's the C value?
19.
Okay, 19 squared. Minus 2 times by, what's the B value again?
8.51.
And what's the C value again?
19.
Okay, I'm running out of space. I'm going to crash into the diagram. Let's just quickly squeeze the 19 in here. And then what we time all that by? We multiply it by the cos of?
A.
42.
42.
Okay, cos of 42.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. I've kind of gone really into the question. 2 minutes. Okay, we should finish here. Right, let's now work this stuff out. So now we have to put it into the calculator.
You have to rearrange, don't you?
Okay, one more bit of rearranging. Opposite squaring is?
Square rooting.
Take this, I'm going to take my square root, I'm just going to cheat and just write it in one go. There you go.
So
Square root of all that. So, what we type in first, we type in square root button, and then 8.51 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 times by 8.51 times by 19 times by the cos.
I've got 13.
Is it 42?
I've got 13.89.
Okay, what do we get?
13.89.
That sounds good to me for the moment. Let's write that down. 13.89.
No.
611. Okay.
3 significant figures.
So how many significant figures? 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zishan, 1, 2,
13.89 I got as well.
3.
Nope.
So that's my last digit, that's my decider. So is that 5 or more?
Yeah.
So you got to add 1 to the 8.
13.9.
13.9 what?
Centimeters.
Is the value of C,
And
E, CE.
Yeah.
13.9 centimeters. Okay. And that's the end of the question, that's the end of our lesson, folks. Pack away your stuff, folks. Let me give you your homework pack. I actually made 3 packs.
So I'll bring my taxi. Yeah.
Bring them in a bit if you okay, that's me. Where's the homework packs, me?
24.
Okay, right.
Face calculator.
Right. Can you collect all the equipment, please, and put it in here?
Calculator.
Okay, as we traditionally do in our lessons, what we do in the lessons, okay, what do you do first when you go home, watch the videos, revise through the videos, practice through thinking, and then you need to put the videos away and do the
We go straight
homework.
to bed.
Yeah, okay. Homework, yeah? So homework is same as classwork.
There you go.
So you more practice.